It's all my mother's fault. You see, I couldn't swim for the longest time because I grew up with asthma. And my mom used to say, "You are not even putting your toe in the pool. I'm not going to deal with someone that's going to get sick and end up in hospital." But you see, I'm an adult now. And now I get to make decisions for myself. And I choose how the story ends. And this story, a lot of people can relate to when it comes to speaking English in a professional manner. You went to a school where English wasn't the first language. You went to a school where English was just a subject that you got to do. Or some, you didn't even get to do English, but you had to teach yourself. And now you are in a professional setting where you know the expectation is just so much higher. And what I would love to take you through today is how we help you at Unforgettable Speakers through our core English business program. Get a notepad, let's get started. A lot of times when we think of speaking English, especially for a person that's a South African, that speaks other languages, the first thing that comes to mind is around how I need to change my accent for me to be more acceptable. And that is exactly not what we're working on, because it's not about your accent, but it is really about what you've understood about English and how you can use it in a professional setting to get your message across clearly. So in our core English business program, we have a facilitator that has taught English for more than 10 years to non-native speakers in countries like Spain, Peru, China, South Africa. And through teaching, she has found the ways to help a person, especially that's a professional in the business context, to elevate the way in which they speak. I also did all my schooling in Afrikaans, so I can completely relate to the feeling of pausing, overthinking, and feeling insecure about your English. But it doesn't have to remain like that. In the core English business program, Lebu starts off by taking you through core grammatical practices which help you to be able to speak with more clarity. She also helps you with working on your pronunciation of words so that you are able to speak to a global audience with a bit more confidence. The best part about the program, starting from the very first day, is that you don't just get taught what to do, but you actually sit in a room with other professionals that have seen the importance of having a safe space to practice. So in the room, you get to practice and do the exercises with her as long as with your classmates, in order to see each other improve and keep each other accountable to becoming more professional speakers. Another element that gets covered in this program would be the focus on how to be able to speak with more diplomacy, how to be able to elevate the tone and register that you use in a conversation, which is dependent on whether it's a formal or informal conversation, and being able to switch code according to what is required for the room. Not every room requires you to speak the most elevated and complex words. And knowing how to use those words effectively and having the grammar for it is what helps you to be able to have more confidence when you step into that difficult boardroom with your CEO, as well as when you're just having a conversation with your peers. When it comes to speaking in the unprepared, some of the things that we struggle with the most is gathering our thoughts and being able to share with confidence and without multiple filler words. And in this program, you are taught starter phrases that you can use every time you get asked a question or asked your opinion in the unprepared. Through these starter phrases, you avoid the awkward sounds, so, and you start to speak more professionally while you are gathering your thoughts to be able to share your ideas. Because we all know this. The problem is not that you don't know your work or you're not intelligent enough. It's usually just because the language doesn't flow with ease. But once you've learned these starter phrases and you've practiced them, you will now have a place you can go to in the moment while you're still thinking, while you're still translating, and then your confidence is boosted in those moments where it doesn't get awkward. An important part that Lebu covers in this presentation or in the classes as well is specifically presentations. The higher you go in your career, the more you're going to be expected to present. And I often say, the slideshow is not the presentation, because you are. The people are going into that room to listen to you. And how you are sharing that message is going to be dependent on how you've structured your presentation. And a lot of times when we structure a presentation, we focus on just putting the slides together, forgetting that for you to have a presentation that's unforgettable, you need an unforgettable start. So in the program, Lebu teaches you intro styles that you can then use to make your presentations more effective. She also teaches you how to move from one slide to another with more ease and flow without sounding robotic or saying the same thing all the time. When we say, next slide, and on my next slide, right? So she teaches you how to use connectors effectively to ensure that your presentation is elevated. And outside of just having a great start, great connectors throughout the presentation, we all know we need to end it with a bang. This is where she teaches you how to conclude effectively on your presentations to make them unforgettable. All of this gets taught in the program, not just in theory, but in practice, as well as with small homework assignments that you do to be able to reinforce the learnings and for you to be able to gain the confidence that I said it with my mouth and now I know I can go and do it at work as well. So we had a student that joined the program. She lives in KZN, and we know the predominant language spoken in KZN is isiZulu. She joined the program because she felt in those moments when she needs to speak in the boardroom table, she just doesn't have the English words as she does when she writes her emails. Isn't that common? And that is usually because when she's writing an email, she finds that she has time to think, she has time to compare which word and which not. But when it comes to English and speaking on the spot, there's no time. And all you need is a room where you can start practicing to have that vocabulary, the grammar, as well as the words to buy yourself time. And as she did the program, she really invested in putting her heart and soul into practicing. And at the end of the program, she left saying, now she knows exactly what to say when she gets asked something in the unprepared. Now she knows how to navigate those moments when she's still thinking without feeling the pressure of having to speak immediately. And that's how you gain your confidence, by being in a room like that, participating, taking your learnings and using them in the workplace. Let me take you through a quick recap on what we cover in the core English business program. So in this program, we do not cover accent, but we do work on how you pronounce words so that you can speak with that global, international English that's understood by everyone. We focus on your clarity, speaking with diplomacy so that you are taken more seriously when you are mentioning your ideas in those moments. We also focus on how you can buy yourself time to think as you're about to answer questions in interviews, as well as after your presentation, so that you are able to speak on the spot without feeling like I need to translate this first on paper. And then we go into presentations and how to make your presentations unforgettable by working on your introductions, the body of your message, as well as conclusions. And all of this in a room where you are the one doing the speaking. To get more information about our core English business program, I'm going to leave a link below for you. We all know you've already paid the cost of not being able to speak with English confidently. So signing up for this program is really just going to help make it easier for you to be able to use all the skills, experiences, and degrees you have with ease in the boardroom. Until I see you again, remain unforgettable.